It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, Ace Cosby, Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Tom Griswold.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cool Breeze has just joined us. I'm Chick McGee, and there's Tom Griswold.
Okay, we're looking at a big screen, and on that big screen, kicked back in a chair.
Nice velvet chair,
It's
too.
Al Jackson, and I can't quite... Oh, I see that's a microphone in your hand. And you've got kind of a sweat...
Explain it to the audience, please, Tom, what that is.
A sweatsuit on.
Yeah, it's a tracksuit. I told you, Tom, but look, you guys don't understand. I am in my sweater phase of life for wintertime. We are transitioning to spring, summer. And I've been telling you guys for a while now, I'm into that tracksuit phase of my life. I dress like an older Asian man walking around a pond. I want to look reflective and thoughtful, but also like I ran two 90s hip hop record labels as well.
Al, you look like a hip hop preacher that buys Gucci sunglasses out of the collection bin. You know?
Yeah, I used to be like you. I used to be like you. Yeah, fast money, fast cars, fast women. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you where that is. It is up on the Bob and Tom show.
Now, Al is wearing yellow sunglasses, kind of aviators.
Yeah, he is.
With the yellow glass. And also with us in the studio, comedian Greg Warren. Al is one of the featured performers on the Daily Blast
what up,
Live.
Greg? And Tom, I don't want to interrupt you with my plug, which I appreciate, but I think the audience need to know, if they don't already know, Greg Warren, one of the best writers alive right now, one of the best comics. If he's in your area, go see him. Yes. Hilarious.
Thank you, Al.
Well, actually, he's going to your home state, Al. He'll be in Ohio at the banquet, at the View banquet in Bellevue, and then the famous Funny Farm in Youngstown, Ohio on Saturday. So there you go. You can check out Mr. Warren live and in person. And coming up on the Warren Report. Al is here, Greg, to educate me. He's trying to add to my hipness, if you will.
Oh, I love this segment. It's one of my favorite things.
No, he's not here to add to it. He's here to give you hypness at all.
Right.
Okay.
I just feel like, Greg, Tom has just been really... Now, I'll go as far as say undervalued by his other co-hosts in there. Tom has come so far.
Maligned.
Do you guys remember my man 50 Grand? We now know what side piece is. Mm-hmm. Thanks to Tom.
Yeah. That's right.
Side
Tom,
piece.
give us another word that you know. And don't say my man 50 Grand. You'll destroy my credibility.
Okay, I've got one. It's automobile hoopty.
Oh.
No.
Yes.
All right, let's just
never
let's get into it. I don't like the energy, Tom. We need to reset it. I don't like where this is going. Tom, are you ready?
Yeah. Yes, I'm ready. Help me here.
All right, Tom. What would it mean if you told all the fine people in that studio that somebody was continuously throwing a battery in your back? What does the phrase "they put a battery in my back" mean?
Wow, that is odd. Man, they put a battery in my back. Does it mean that they're, it's like you're a robot and they're recharging you? Like you're a toy robot?
Not exactly, but you're not only in the right neighborhood, you're kind of like in the right street. I like where you are.
Like they jump-started me, maybe?
Yeah, kind of.
I was kind of getting there, but not quite, and then they jump-started me. They put a battery in my back.
You wanted to go home, but they talked you into staying out later, and you rallied, I guess, maybe.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to give it to Chick because basically what it is pushing somebody to do something that so putting a battery in somebody's back is like really amping them up. Like, dude, go over there and talk to that girl. Talk to her. She's looking at you. Go talk. And even though they know that she might not be, you could say I went over there and humiliated myself, but they put a battery in my back. They kept telling me she was making eyes at me. So I went over there. So it's like a way to just say like, your camp around you is kind of encouraging you to do something. And usually, I guess it could be positive or negative, but I usually hear it in like the more slightly negative way.
That's kind of cool, though. But so it is based on a toy robot?
Well, batteries.
Yeah, just like giving you power to go do something, but it's kind of like, what did they ask you to go do? So it's like, oh, he put a battery in my back to go over there and paint my house yellow, but then he kept his normal paint color. Now my house looks crazy. Oh. It's like one of those things where like you're kind of pushing somebody to do something they don't want to do.
I see.
All right, so Tommy, use it in a sentence, please.
Oh, gosh.
Well,
Christy believes.
okay, so I was at Steamboat Springs, and I was on it was a pretty steep slope, and I thought, I'm not going to do this. And then Willie put a battery in my back, and that's when I did it and broke my neck.
There you go.
Yeah,
I should have stayed on the blue.
Yeah, perfect.
Funny.
Yeah, that was perfect. And speaking of breaking your neck, we interviewed Lindsey Vonn. Full disclosure, it'll air today. But we interviewed her yesterday, and I was telling her, I don't know, why do you guys think that skiers in time, this don't get more props for being tough? Like Lindsey Vonn has broken everything, and I've watched documentaries about skiing and like what do you call that, the snowboard? Mm-hmm. Like they get really hurt, but they're kind of looked at as like these rich kids, but like they shatter their bones. Yeah. Have you ever hurt yourself, Tom?
Not skiing. I've been real lucky, but I'm a very conservative skier. I watch myself. Willie, have you ever been hurt skiing?
This isn't about politics. But go ahead.
He always skis to the right.
I always turn right when I ski. Al.
I tore my knee up once skiing, but that was it. I haven't broken anything.
But no, you're right. But the racing level of skiing is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
And they ice down the slopes. These people get hurt all the time. They're amazing athletes.
Al, I'm guessing Lindsey Vonn talked to you a little bit more than the other.
I wish. I can't speak on that, but it was a good interview. I'll leave it at that.
No, I'm very
yeah. It was we had
Did you get the digits? Did you get the digits? Oh, sorry.
See, I learned that from Al. Did I get the digits? You know what that means? Greg Hahn.
Did you get her phone number?
Phone number. And I would assume that knowing your track record with the ladies, I imagine you probably don't have a really thick black book, if you will.
He's speechless. Look what you've done.
Tommy, you ready for your last one?
Yes, I am, sir. Go
your
ahead.
Tough phrase. This is going to be hard. All right. But Tom, I believe in you.
Thank you.
We've had the word before. So when you hear the phrase, don't panic. It's going to be tough.
Okay.
The phrase is, Tom, it's looking very Oppy out here. What is Oppy? Like hoppy without the H. What does Oppy mean?
I mean, a lot of opportunity.
First of all, I like the positive spin.
Most of these women have been downing a lot of activists. And I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to do anything, but Al put a battery in my ass. I mean, a battery in my back. And I went to talk to her, but she wasn't ever ready.
Battery joke.
How did I do?
That was you used it wrong, but the sentence and the explanation for everything was so great that I'm just gonna give it to you on that one. That was really great. Oppy, you looked at it as like a positive thing, which
opportunity.
That's a great way to go through life.
Right.
Life. What else can op be short for?
Opposition?
Yes. So, in the world of hip hop, when you say somebody's an op, that's your enemy. That's somebody that you battle against. Or somebody
so it's like the West Coast, East Coast thing?
Or just like somebody in your life. Like, everybody listening right now has somebody that you guys, whether it's said or not, there are people you compete with. Like, you look at Facebook and like, oh, he got a boat? Okay. Like, there's whatever you say, we all compete with somebody.
Like Greg and
you call that, call that person your op.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So what does Oppy out here mean? What does that mean?
I have a lot of competition.
Just like there's a lot of haters out here.
Yeah.
That's what it means. All your opposition is out here and they're forming against you. So you're like, look, I don't know what it is, but since Daily Blast Live been doing good, it's starting to get real Oppy out here.
Yeah. It's like when Greg Warren comes on the show, he goes, well, I didn't want to do it, but my manager put a battery in my back and I went in to do the Bob and Tom show. It's getting a lot of Oppy in there.
It was Oppy when I walked in here this morning.
That's unbelievable, except for me.
Extremely Oppy.
Except for him.
No, you didn't even look at me.
Yes, I did. I checked out your haircut and started insulting
You called him Greg Hahn.
You told him to speak up.
I was just wishful thinking.
It remains Oppy, doesn't it?
See?
Yeah, it's got a little more
demonstrating Oppy.
Honestly, this is why Tom gets away with so much, because show after show, he kind of like just under the radar. He's nice. He lets people poke at him. They poke the bear. And then Tom comes with a vicious attack like that. And Greg, who is a professional comedian, and I am a professional, was not ready for that. That was
No, he lulls you into a sense of fun and friendliness.
I wasn't ready.
Whatever you.
I thought I was among friends.
Hey, whatever you say, Roy Wood. Whatever you say.
See, but I was demonstrating what Oppy means. So it might be perceived that this is an Oppy environment. This particular sphere for Greg is extremely Oppy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think you like that phrase.
I like
does
that.
too.
That word. I like that. I would have used it if you hadn't put a battery in my back.
But I don't think you like. You don't have to try to be a dick.
No. Where you really comes naturally.
He's in neutral
Believe in
right
yourself.
now. He's just rolling down the hill.
So what you're saying is I don't need to have Al put a battery in my back.
No.
Okay,
This
good.
thing comes naturally to you. Batteries installed.
Batteries included.
Comes with 2 AA batteries. Oh, yeah. Need to talk to Tom real quick.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
We got some fan mail, more and more coming in every day. People love your, as they refer to it.
Have a drink.
Oh, sorry.
Why don't you have a little?
No. Suck it down. It's fine.
Sorry.
They love your Neil Young sideburns.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And people want to know how long you've been growing them, and is someone going to start a Twitter account for Tom's sideburns?
That's not Neil Young. You look like Martin Van Buren if he was
Yeah,
a shop
Martin
teacher.
or Millard Fillmore. I couldn't. Yeah, I think it is
Look at
Martin Van
those.
Buren.
They're almost
Number
down
8.
to your jawline.
I think I read somewhere on Twitter somebody asked, does he have a woman in his life that's not saying something
I like it.
about
I
those?
genuinely like
they
it.
have to go. She just the other day mentioned something.
Oh, really?
I've been
I bet.
extremely busy. I'll try to get that done.
I like them, Tom.
I think.
I don't
Can't you
know.
just shave them off?
No.
Well,
You
that's
know
what you do.
How busy are you?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
morning anyway.
Does he ever tell you how busy he is, and then he tells you an errand he was running yesterday, and you realize how optional his business is?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I like that optional busyness. I like that.
It's
That's
self-imposed.
My favorite Tom story is that I was so busy yesterday, I couldn't believe it. And then someone sends you an email going, I saw Tom asleep in a Starbucks parking lot.
Well, I think a nap is part of being busy.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We have to wrap this up here. We got a bunch of stuff going on. What day is today?
Time now
April
for
28th.
Today in history, 42822.
Real quick, may I please? Greg Warren's with us, and he's going to be in Ohio all weekend.
Right.
Tom. Well, Jeff from Kalamazoo. Oh, I got a gal there.
Do you?
I went to see Greg Warren live. One of the best comics I have ever seen. I've seen a lot of big names, and he is in my top 5. How about that?
Wow. That's very nice. And
Very
Greg's
nice.
got 2 stops in Ohio.
I
It's
don't know
going to
the other 4 are. But
Bellevue on Friday. 2 shows at the famous Funny Farm in Youngstown, Ohio. Again, had to be rebuilt after Pat Godwin was there. Just torched the
smoked
place
it.
with his great show. So good luck.
did not
good
hear
luck
that.
to you. Yeah, that's a
Don't miss Greg.
I told you that.
Greg is the best. Go see him. Now, today in history, okay, oh boy, let's see. 1937, the first commercial flight over the Pacific. Guess who had that, Josh? What airline do you think that was?
I'm going to say Continental.
Pan Am.
Pan Am. That's what I
Pan
was
Am is
gonna
the
say.
correct answer.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I think it's
Yeah,
Continental.
a lot of research to be done.
Can you imagine now? Would you have
Josh
gone
was wrong.
as a passenger? Would you have been comfortable in 1937 hopping on a plane?
I bet it was almost similar to the guys who are getting in space shuttles now,
It'd be kind
but
of
a little more affordable for folks.
Yeah, I would have been a
They
little.
wanted to be pioneers.
Scary. Okay, we have in 1945 Benito Mussolini executed.
Misunderstood hero.
No,
if you really read
putting the
about it.
dick in dictator. He was hanging.
I don't know about that.
Invented chocolate mousse.
Body hanging in the square.
Chocolate Mussolini. I'll have the.
So that has to be some restaurant has to have that.
A little bit of fun.
Yeah, nobody has.
Who would name a dessert after a
Yeah.
dictator?
Nobody.
I'll have the baked dictator.
I'll have the cheese Stalin and the.
Ooh, let's get some Adolf apps.
Oh, yeah. Adolf Apps? Adolf Apps?
You can do a whole thing. You start off with crackers and cheese. Yeah, crackers and cheese. You do that old the sculpture of Putin and do the Putin on the Ritz.
Oh, that's tasty. Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Idi Amin green bean.
We can do a whole thing.
Yummy and green.
And I don't have to tell you about the stew and the Pol Pot.
Yeah, Oh, yeah. I was going to go with Pol Pot stickers, but yeah.
Oh, they're very good. Very good. That'd be better because it has an Asian feel.
Born on this date in 1916.
Born in this date of
Mauricio Lamborghini.
Is it Ferruccio or Ferruccio Lamborghini?
Yes.
Of course, you got the Genghis Khan dogs.
Would you stop?
Oh, I thought you wanted to play.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
talk about Lamborghinis.
She's trying to broadcast to the 1%,
Okay.
Josh.
Yes.
Okay, of course, born in this date in Mr. Lamborghini. Also, Lenny Dotson, born in this date in 1917.
Now you're talking.
And, of course, Chuck Hugo, born in 1984.
Yes, Pat, you're right. Before every meal, you get the Attila the buns.
Time now for things you
another
learned
dictator.
today.
Yeah.
That's enough. That's
Obama?
enough. That's it.
Oh.
Relax.
Happy birthday, John Daly. We have time now to begin.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh, this is...
If you'd like to begin the Warren Report, our weekly.
No, the Warren Report.
Thank you, Chick.
You're welcome.
I am working on a musical intro for it.
You've been saying that for like 3 months.
I'm busy.
He says things.
He does
You get a lot of that.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Don't hold your breath.
There is one.
Yeah.
The subject today is the history of orange juice.
Oh.
Yeah. Just as an aside, next week, May 4th, is National Orange Juice Day.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to concentrate.
Very good.
I like a good one, folks.
Yeah.
You're off to a good start.
We're off to a real good start here.
I'm expecting a pulp joke any time now.
Well, I had one, but since you said the word, I'll wait.
Okay.
Oranges actually probably were first grown in Southeast Asia,
Wait a
and
minute.
then the Europeans brought them back to Europe, and the Spaniards brought them to Florida. Orange juice itself, not very popular. It was, is labor intensive to squeeze an orange, and it really wasn't a big deal until a guy named Albert Lasker. Now, Lasker is this guy that he was an advertising exec, and the character Dom Draper in Mad Men was loosely based on Lasker. He was an advertising genius, and he represented the California Fruit Growers Exchange.
Okay.
Their problem was they were growing a ton of oranges, and they didn't have much to do with them. People were eating, like 20% of the crop that was grown, and they had all this extra oranges. So Lasker got two ideas. One, he said, we're not going to call it California Fruit Growers Exchange anymore. We're going to call it Sunkissed.
I love
his idea. Yep. The second idea was this ad campaign. It was a print campaign, and it said, drink an orange.
Oh.
And he started packaging like a 10-cent orange squeezer with a bundle of oranges, and orange juice sort of took off. After that. People started drinking orange juice.
It doesn't take that long to make orange juice. From what I understand, it's made in a minute.
Yeah.
So it's Minute Maid?
Yeah.
Made?
Try the pulp joke you were going to do.
I will.
I probably relied on the word pulp, and he just gave it away.
Again, so now I have to push it back even farther.
Back even farther. And there were a lot of doctors early on. There's a lot of health claims made about orange juice, and they weren't. It increased your sex drive. It increased your energy. There was this thing. It's a very, very rare disease called acidosis.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it nobody has it. Okay, but back then, the doctors were saying everybody has it, and the only cure for it was orange juice, and people believed it. There's a little passage about acidosis that I loved. It's, Estelle seemed to lack vitality, didn't even make an effort to be entertaining, hence, she did not attract the men.
Estelle,
what year is this?
She had acidosis. This was probably in the 19-teens or something like that. Wow. Yeah. Feel bad for Estelle.
Yes.
So that was a big kicker. Now, orange juice at that time was put into cans. It was pasteurized and put into cans, and it shipped all over the country. When you pasteurize orange juice, you take quite a bit of the taste out of orange juice and a lot of the health benefits out of orange juice. So they were shipping this stuff all over, and it sort of tasted terrible, but people drank it because of the health benefits. Enter the U.S. Army.
Oh, okay.
World War II happens, and we are very worried about our soldiers getting scurvy and having their teeth fall out.
Right.
You get scurvy from a lack of vitamin C. So the U.S. Army said, we got to figure out a way to get this orange juice put into some sort of form. We can get it over to the troops. They didn't really develop the best way to do it until after the war, but when they did it, and that was... Willie mentioned concentration.
Yeah.
The way they do, they sort of take all of they put it under a vacuum and heat, and they pull all the water out of orange juice, and it's left with this concentrate. Then they add a little flavor back in, and then they freeze it. And then they send it all over the country, and frozen orange juice, like in starting in the late 40s, just took off.
Watch the entire show live or on demand at bobandtom.com.
Hey man, this is Donnie Baker. If you just like that video, then do your part. Like and subscribe. You have to. It's state law.